Check 1, 2. We're live. Good morning, everybody. Wait for my picture to pop up. Good morning. Wherever you are in the world. There we are. We're live. Yeah. Welcome everybody. Hi, how you doing? How's everybody doing? Marcus Conte reporting. How are you, man? Whoa! After a long downtime, I've been away. I've been at the mountaintop, meditating, silence for a long time, and we're here to talk about Trump. Is only 30 days. Good morning, everybody. I'm really good to see everybody in the chat. Vinny D. Martini in the house. William R. Hall is here. Deborah and everybody else who's lurking. Everybody else who doesn't even know I'm here right now. Welcome. And we're going to talk about the Cold War today. As I was sitting in my meditative cubicle, I was thinking about, of course, thinking about the first month of Trump. As the new United States president for the second time, and it struck me that for my entire life, right? I'm 60, right? And for my entire life, 70 years, 10 years plus, right? I wasn't even born yet, and 10 years before I was born, there was a Cold War in Russia, and what exactly does that mean? We're going to talk about it. We're going to look at some evidence, but I think the overwhelming story is that the United States, in some way, has been at war with Russia, the communist Russia, right? The communists over there, people that are different than us. We want democracy and equal rights for all. Over there, they want less of everything for everyone, right? Communism, right? What the fuck does that mean? Doesn't mean anything anymore, I guess. But it does seem that, based on the evidence, based on the a single interview, a single program, a single sit down at the White House. That's what it was. The Cold War was ended, and I could tell you where it was. When Donald Trump schools Vladimir Zelensky, right, the Ukraine president, schools him and tells him, "You don't know what you're doing. If we listen to you, people are going to continue to die." Right? What you have right there is you have a sort of alignment with Russia, but so what? What is the fucking problem? Trump said the most, I guess it's really not that shocking, but to many people it's profound, that he says, all we have to do is stop the killing first. What is the exit strategy? What is the bigger plan? The plan is to stop everybody from killing each other. Stop shooting bullets at each other, is what he said, and for that the liberal left is irate that he's a Putin puppet, a Russian agent. So we're gonna. It does occur to me that if there is a Cold War, the Cold War was technically declared invalid in 1991 when the wall fell, I guess, or whatever, the Berlin Wall when it came down. They said that that this was over, the Cold War. So we're going to find out. We'll find out today if there is still a war, and is it cold, and has Trump? Will that be his legacy? Trump stops the Cold War, or is it just a pause in action, right? Trump doesn't want war. Right? And that's a good thing, right? When you have a president in the White House that is vocally saying no war. So we're gonna take a look at this fascinating subject. Here's my thumbnail today: a hodgepodge of Cold War and Zelensky sitting down with Trump, getting schooled and yelled at. And there's the years, right? The Cold War, 1945, the end of World War II, all the way through so many American leaders and Russian leaders, right? Gorbachev, Khrushchev, Stalin, right? All the fucking Russian monsters, as we were taught to believe they are. And all of the American presidents, dating all the way back to Truman, who actually dropped the nuclear bomb on Japan and killed fucking, I don't know, 1 million people, right? So we're going to look at that today. My name is Marcus Conte. I have a website. Here we are. This is the Morning Report, educational, philosophical live stream, other things going on in the burner that I'll be prepared to talk about very, very soon. We're just letting them settle, like the dust. The dust sometimes has to settle before you can talk about these things. But I do have a website, and keep it posted. And there we are. Right? I changed some things around. And so let's start here. Let's start with is racism in America getting any milder? Let's watch a white person get beat down by, I don't know, 12 blacks or 12, I don't know what they are. Well, watch this. Watch this kick fucking mess, right? What did this kid do to deserve it? Turns out he's just some kid, right? This is going on in California right now, by the way. I don't know why this is relevant, but if there's a war going on, if we're to say that there's a Cold War, what the fuck is this? This is a real war, right? They just beat that kid senselessly. Now let me get a kick. It's my turn. Get out of the way, man. I'm going to kick him too. Oh, free kicks? That's free kicks right there. I'm going to kick him. Fucking. There's no consequence, man. We're all doing it. That's what happens. That's herd mentality, right? That's what Hillary Clinton referred to as black youth super predators, if you will. There they are. Alive. Right? Kick that motherfucker, man. White privilege, motherfucker. Yeah, man. Beat that bitch. Right? That's what's going on in America, right? In the background, right? This is the country we fight for. This is the country we believe in. Right? What the fuck is this? Oh, here's the Cold War explained in 15 minutes. We're not going to watch 15 minutes of it. Let's watch a piece of it.
At the end of the Second World War.
End of the Second World War. Let's get the time frame and see if Trump did it. I think he did.
The Cold War had begun. The world lay divided between two great superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. It would not be a conventional war, with the two sides never directly fighting.
Right, so there it started, World War II. Right? World War II, the United States is, I guess, at war with mostly Europe. We were never at war with Russia. Russia and us, we had the same enemy. The enemy was Germany, right, and Japan for the most part, right. But the enemy was clearly Germany. And Germany got split in half, and the U.S. and the West, with England and France, took the West Germany, and Russia took the east part of it. So that's the history of it, right? That's when it began, 1945, 46, 47, like that.
Fighting. Instead, it would be an ideological battle between communism and capitalism. The East versus the West.
Communism versus capitalism, the East versus the West. Do you know how many wars that started? Look at Vietnam. Look at Cambodia. Laos got carpet bombed over ridiculous theory of communism and capitalism. It's still going on right now, and Trump is ending it. Right?
And the resulting struggle for ideological influence and power. Both sides would stockpile nuclear weapons, with questions over how to use, control, and eliminate them becoming central to the conflict. From Stalin to Reagan.
Reagan. Look at the names. The names of the... these are all our Cold War heroes.
From the arms race to the Cuban Missile Crisis. From the Berlin Wall to Vietnam and Korea. This is the story of the Cold War.
The Cold War. It's still cold in here, man. So that's some of what's going on, right? But let's look at some of the propaganda. How to spot a communist. Are you a communist?
Therefore, propaganda is vastly more important in democratic societies.
Are you a communist?
In recognizing a communist, physical appearance counts for nothing. If he openly declares himself to be a communist, we take his word for it.
See, it was pretty severe. In the 1940s, it was a scary thing to be a communist. It had a different meaning, I guess. It had kind of the polar opposite meaning of what we're about, which is, I guess, free enterprise, but that's also interpreted as imperialism, right? The United States is an imperialist nation. We ride in on our horse, dragging our carriage, and tell the enemy how wonderful our lives are and how much your lives suck, and that if you would just bow, it's like Sparta, right? It's like when the messengers, rode into Sparta to tell King Leonidas that he needs to subordinate himself to Xerxes, right? The fucking king of Greece or wherever the fuck he was from.
If a person consistently reads and advocates the views expressed in a communist publication, he may be a communist.
So if you read, the theory there is that if you read information that's written by alleged communists, then you're a communist as well, by default.
If a person supports organizations which reflect communist teachings, or organizations...
See, we were the imperialists. That's who we were. We were down with the imperialists. We were the imperialists at the time.
Labeled communist by the Department of Justice, she may be a communist. If a person defends the activities of communist nations while consistently attacking the domestic and foreign policy of the United States, she may be a communist.
It sounds like it's almost like right out of Hillary Clinton playbook, right? You blame, right? If you blame Russia for something, and then when the other side says, "Oh, that's ridiculous. Russia had nothing to do with it," you're a communist.
If a person does all these things over a period of time, he must be a communist. But there are other communists who...
What does that sign say? KK Terror. End KKK Terror. What the fuck does that have to do with it? The Ku Klux Klan is communism?
Don't show their real faces.
The communists don't show their real faces. Are you getting the point that I'm trying to make here?
More silently.
By the early 19...
Therefore, propaganda is vastly more important.
What else? 1940. Here's another one.
Some rather disturbing reports about you.
Such as?
Such as the fact that you're spending so much time with people who are nothing but communists.
Nothing but communists.
Nothing but communists. Well, maybe there's nothing but communism for people who aren't afraid to think. Look, Dad, if you want...
So this kid's saying that the communists are able to think. This is the 1950s. We can think, and you're fucking stuck in your own head. That's communism? The communism of the thinkers. Look how ridiculous all of it... This is right out of the 50s. Look at how the arguments have no value anymore, right? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't even know what you're talking about.
Want to find out how I stand on anything, just ask me. Don't waste your time by listening to a lot of stool pitching.
All that matters is what Trump is saying. Stop the bullets. Stop shooting fucking bullets and dropping bombs on each other's heads, right? And then we'll know it's over. Until then, fuck you.
Know what you're saying, Paul. You don't know what communism really means.
No, but I'm learning. And what I'm learning makes more sense to me now than anything I've ever learned before. Your world is dying, Dad. And it's burying itself in the dry rot of imperialism and colonialism.
Your world is dying, Dad, in the cold grave of imperialism, he said. Good morning, everybody in the chat. What's up, Tice from the great state of Amsterdam, the great country of Amsterdam, great country of Holland. And everybody else is lurking. Thank you. No good, very bad American. How you doing, man?
Communism is building a new world right in front of your eyes, and you can't see it.
I saw communism at work before you were born. I remember the horrible senseless violence, the bitterness. I saw the terror in Kiel and Berlin.
You remember a man named Hitler? That's
He said Kiev and Berlin. So he's talking about Ukraine, right? Ukraine is, at the time in the 50s, was Russia. There was no Ukraine. You get the point, right? In Kiev and
That's where your violence came from. But people like you couldn't see that either until it was too late.
Paul,
Paul.
let's not quarrel about history. Think about America, our country. It's
Okay.
been good to us. Well, with all this happening.
All right, so it's a ideological. What is Bernie talking about? Fucking Bernie.
We are living in a pivotal moment in our country's
That was then. This is now.
history, facing unprecedented challenges. How we respond to this moment will impact not only our lives, but the lives of our kids and grandchildren, and in terms of climate change, the very health and well-being of the planet.
I would say that Bernie's got maybe another year or two before he fucking starts to fizzle out, before his brain fries. Bernie's pretty tough, man. In his 80s, this is a tough dude right here, Bernie.
As you heard tonight, President Trump has been very effective in creating what I would call a parallel universe
Parallel universe.
for his supporters. A set of ideas that either have no basis in reality or in the great scheme of things are nowhere near the most important concerns of the American people.
Trump definitely has the deepest concerns of the American people in mind, and that is to stop the wars. Does anybody else hear the lisp in Bernie's voice? Is Bernie losing his fucking his Bernie watch?
Nowhere near the most important concerns
Or maybe his teeth are falling out.
of the American people. And one way
Good morning, Weevil Girl. Weevil Girl in the house.
that he does that is through the concept of the big lie, and boy, did we hear that tonight.
The big lie.
You say something that is grossly
All right, so there's Bernie saying that everything that Trump is doing has nothing to do with the American people and shouldn't. What's
President
Fox?
Trump won the election fair and square. More than three
Oh,
and Robbie Mook saying Russian interference.
So here's the modern day Russian propaganda. Still happening, right? We know about it. Russia, Russia, Russia. It's still happening.
May be to blame for his candidate's loss. Watch.
This is the key. No campaign manager, no candidate should ever sit at a table like this on a news program and say, I don't know, the Russians might have been the reason we lost the election. It's not important whether they were or not. What's important is that it could have been the reason.
It's not. Did you hear what this jerk-off said? This is Robbie Mook. This is the guy who led Hillary Clinton, led Hillary Clinton's election in 2016. It's not important if the Russians. Listen to that again.
It could have been the reason. And what's important is that it could have been the reason. And
It's not important.
We lost the election. It's not important whether they were or not. What's important is that this program and say,
Just 1 second. He's saying it's not important that the Russians.
I don't know, the Russians might have been the reason we lost the election.
The Russians might have been the reason we lost the election.
It's not important whether they were or not.
It's not important whether they were or not. Right? So he's saying we lost the election, and it's not important if Russia had anything to do with it. They could have had something to do with it.
What's important is that it could have been the reason.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Is that the most vile fucking promotion of propaganda? We don't know if it's that person, but it could have been. All right? That's guilt by association. That's kangaroo court. Right? Fucked
That
up.
should never happen again.
One day earlier, he echoed those comments with the same sentiment.
The problem is that Vladimir Putin devastates and destroys his enemies. He's been devastating and destroying the Syrian people, and Hillary Clinton spoke out against that. She had the courage to do that, and she paid a price.
Here you go. Vilify Putin in order to win your election.
Because Vladimir Putin interceded in this election.
All right, so you get the point. This has been going on and on. So here we are in the modern day, and this is Zelensky, president. Is he still president? He's president of a debunked nation, Ukraine. Here he is, invited to the Oval Office, and let's see how he does. He's sitting at one of the infamous yellow chairs. where world leaders sit. Trump is to the left, he's to the right, or Trump is stage right, stage left. And there's Zelensky, and watch how heated this got. This is when J.D. Vance pops in. Watch this.
Let's go.
It's a little late. I know a lot of people may have seen this already, but let's watch.
I already mentioned Poland. Poland was under Russian control for decades.
Martin O'Connor points out it never was a hack. It was always a leak by a disgruntled insider of the Democrats. Says Martin about the 2016 election that Russia hacked the DNC. Of course, Russia didn't hack the DNC, right? We know that it was an insider. We even know the insider's name, Mr. Rich, who did it and dumped it onto the other guy's name, who we know, which was WikiLeaks, which was fucking, look what happened to those two guys. Both of them fucking, one is dead. And WikiLeaks got thrown in jail for 10 years for speaking out.
After the Second World War, when I was a kid, I looked at the United States not only as a most
listen to
country, richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good. And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin.
The Poland guy is saying, or the hack, the political hack is saying that Poland fears that Trump is aligning himself too much with Putin. Listen to the response.
What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align my...
Assange, thank you, Vinny. I forgot fucking Julian Assange's name for a second. I've been silent for like a month. I forgot how to speak, but I'm getting the brain is still there. But thank you.
Movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good.
I want you to just listen to how he says alignment. When this Polish knucklehead says that you're aligned with Putin. Watch his answer.
And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way.
There you go.
I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody.
I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. Listen again.
Too much with Putin. What's your message?
Come on.
Deal. That doesn't work that way. Deal. That doesn't.
Too much with Putin.
One more time. I'm sorry.
What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal.
That's to get the deal done, right? You got to somehow sit at the table and say, okay, but alignment, you're talking about, this is what the Cold War is about. This is what the Cold War has been about for 70 years, that if you align with Russia, then you're a communist. Right? You're not allowed to do that. You're not even allowed to look up at Russia and say they did something good. You know how many fucking Russian people I know from living in Brooklyn and Brighton Beach, and there's no reality to what they're saying. This alignment thing, right? And here's Trump's answer.
You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America.
I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anyone. I'm aligned with the United States of America. And there, my friends, ends the Cold War. There is no alignment. There's no alignment. Russia is another kid in the playground. That's all it is. That's all Russia is. Russia is not, we're not the parent like we are for Europe or South America for the most part. Russia has its own parent. China has its own parent. We are the parent of places like, as I say, Europe and such, right? But Trump says that we're not aligned with anyone. We're not aligned with any of these, quote, bullies who might be in the playground. We're aligned with America.
and for the good of the world.
Good of the world.
I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side is exactly in love with.
Look at Zelensky. Look at Zelensky squirming. Watch. He's going to get his in a second. Watch.
You know, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world.
Yes.
I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country.
Bingo. J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance has, I bet he's spoken the conspiracy that I've been telling you about the whole time. The power vacuum in Ukraine, Joe Biden and his son's actions in Ukraine caused the power vacuum, which Putin, that's what gave Putin, permission to invade, right, in his mind, right? That's what caused it. The incompetence of Biden and his son and his family over there in Ukraine grabbing money, right, caused the collapse of the Ukraine. Right? And Biden knows that too. So what does he do? He turns around and he gives $50 billion, $100 billion to Ukraine for weapons to go kill Russians. Insane, right? Insanity. This is Cold War. This is fucking hot and heated and blowing each other up in the name of democracy or imperialism or communism or capitalism.
Peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Diplomacy, he's right. You got to give him kudos for that. J.D. Vance is not the slickest, most experienced, negotiator, but he certainly sees the diplomacy when it's happening. Trump is right in the fucking middle. Trump is right in the middle of the two, and he's got both of their attention. Right, he's the referee. He's got his hand on both of their heads right now. Right, hey, back up. Right, he's separating them right now. Right.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Okay, so he occupied it.
Now, put it into context. Zelensky comes to the White House looking to negotiate, looking to relax the war. Right? And what does he do? He comes there and he blames Russia for everything. He's blaming Russia. Vladimir Putin, we cannot trust him. He burns our children. He eats our mothers and fathers. Watch this.
Our big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President...
What the fuck are you talking about? Get to the point.
Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the
he killed people. You hear what he's saying he listen to what he's saying at the chair. He comes to negotiate and he's talking about the other side who killed people, as if the Ukrainians didn't kill people with all the bombs that the United States gave them. Of course they did. There's a million dead soldiers somewhere.
2015.
2014
and 2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him.
You got to shut this guy up. That's what you got to do. You got to totally shut him up. Don't even listen to him anymore. This will be the last time you see Zelensky in the public eye, by the way, unless Congress invites him in. But he'll never be in the White House again, at least until this is over.
Me, like a new president, in 2019, I signed with him the deal I signed with him, Macron.
I keep saying Zelensky. It's Zelensky, excuse me, with a Z.
And Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract.
Shut this guy up, right? Trump, take over.
Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't.
You don't come to the negotiating table and tell the moderators how bad the other guy is, right? You say, what do we have in common, right? This is diplomacy, right? Putin's ready to do that.
Exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
Diplomacy means you sit down at the chair and you shut the fuck up and you negotiate peace, and you shut your hole about what the other guy did to you, right? He punched me in the face.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President,
the diplomacy that's destroying your country. That's what's happening, Zelensky. The fucking your country's falling apart because of your actions, your diplomacy.
with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to
You don't come to the negotiating table with a country like the United States, who is very, very wealthy and influential, and fold your arms and start telling people what to do. Right? This guy's over. His political career just ended, and in my opinion, so did the Cold War. Trump is now listening to Russia, which Zelensky is Russia and will be Russia again. Sadly.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had
a propaganda tour, says J.D. Vance. Ooh, wow. We've never seen politics like this before. We've never seen anything. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen a live negotiation of politics that involves people getting blown up in war, right? The settling of war on national television. Congratulations, Donald Trump, for orchestrating it.
Bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of
Trump's ready to fucking chop his head off. Watch.
questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying.
Don't tell us what we're gonna feel, you fucking moron. Don't tell us what we're gonna feel. Thank you, Donald Trump.
To solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position
this
to
question.
dictate that.
Nothing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
Shut the fuck up. All right? Trump is telling a guy, shut the fuck up in my house.
We're going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position.
That's
and
right.
He happens to be right about
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position. You don't have the
saying-
cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
playing
But
cards.
right now,
You gotta. He should have told him, get the fuck out of the room. I don't know if he did that, but he should have.
you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You are gambling with the lives of millions of people, you idiot. Right? Because of your political fucking alignment. Right? That's what's happening.
You're gambling with World War III.
what you're
You're
thinking
gambling
about?
with
What are you
World
thinking
War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you
You
said
should kick that jackass out of the room. He should have been gone already.
thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of
you're
America
speaking about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please.
The
You
end
think
of the
that
Cold War.
If you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
He-
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in
You've done a lot of talking. Now shut up and listen.
big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
We
coming
are
out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
$350 billion. $350 billion, and he's saying he's standing there alone. Right? What would have happened if the United States didn't give a penny to Ukraine? This thing would have been over in a day, maybe a few hours.
We gave you military equipment, and your men are brave, but they had to use our military. If you didn't have our military equipment, if you didn't have our military equipment,
This is again unprecedented. I've never seen two guys go at it like this, like real negotiation live. Congratulations, man. We are in a different era. And Trump, I believe Trump is right on this one. I think the entertainment value is great, but you see you get to see who Zelensky really is, and you understand a little more about what's happening.
equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
Right. You can't negotiate with a fucking thick head like this. Get the guy out of the room.
Hey, thank you.
I said that 10 times already. I'll stop saying it.
I said a lot of times to American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand.
Thank you, Trump. Trump is putting on the show for us. He's showing us what, people like myself who already see Zelensky as as kind of a loser. I think I see it, but I don't think most people see it with Ukraine. That Ukraine is full of propaganda, and the things that led up to the collapse of Ukraine has really little to do with Vladimir Putin and more to do with the United States intervening with Joe Biden.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I want this.
Yeah.
Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and
So the bullets stop flying. Stop the killing.
men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire.
guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
it doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what.
That wasn't with.
It's a different time, right? There's been plenty of I'm sure there's been plenty of written agreements and ceasefires, but now you have no more money, Zelensky. The United States is not giving you the piles and piles and truckloads of money and guns to shoot at Russians anymore. Now you're going to negotiate, right? Because we're not funding them anymore. The fact is, Joe Biden was wholly aligned with Zelensky, right? 100% aligned with Zelensky, which he viewed as being opposed to Russia. Right? You can't align yourself with Russia because then you are what? A communist. You see how the whole thing falls apart right here with Trump? The whole story of the Cold War falls apart.
With me. That was with a guy named Biden who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave
I don't know what he's talking about.
sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
Yep.
One more question to
Please.
Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make. because the attitudes have to change.
The attitudes.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then?
What if Russia breaks his promise? Who cares?
I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
It's a good team, man. J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio. You got to love these guys. They're tough. They're really putting it out
What are
there.
you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
Well, what if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt.
All right. So there you have it.
Where they used him and Russia. You ever hear that deal? That was a phony.
I'm going to call it and say that that's the end of the Cold War. That's the end. Right? So thank you everybody for joining me. Marcus Conte reporting on this. Still a cold day. What's the temperature? The sun's coming out, man. It's almost spring. The Cold War is over. Put away your gun. The Cold War is over. It's time to have some fun. The Cold War is over. And the sun is out. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you guys Wednesday. Marcus Conte reporting.